I want you to imagine what it would be like if you were able to sit down to write your own lyrics and everything that was put down onto that page was amazing and beautiful. How's it going today? My name's Jeremy, and today I want to take a little bit of your time and I want to teach you about writing your own song lyrics. Now, what I'm going to share with you isn't going to be how to write your own generic or boring lyrics. We're going to be teaching you how to write your own meaningful lyrics. Lyrics that when people hear them, they're going to stop and they're going to be able to hear the emotion that you're trying to convey. They're going to truly feel something. I'm also going to teach you how to write a story with your lyrics. A story of ups and downs, a story that people are going to be able to connect with. Now, this is actually my first point. When we're writing our own lyrics, we need to be thinking in terms of the story that we're trying to tell. You know, I think that a lot of people, when they're writing their own lyrics, they think that it needs to be about some abstract concept, something that's really meaningful and deep, something that people are going to be able to connect with. All the while they're thinking about some abstract thing, they're missing the point that people connect through stories. Think about some of the best songs out there that you know, some of the most meaningful songs out there that you know. I guarantee you that most, if not all of them, are told through a story. You know, think back to when you were in school, or if you're in school right now, and think about the best teacher that you've ever had. Chances are that they were your favorite teacher because they were able to teach through stories, and they told stories in class that were really funny, and you were able to connect with them through those. Writing songs is the same way, and we need to have this mindset. Even though we're songwriters, we are telling a story, and that's the most important thing with any songwriting project that you're working on. You know, a couple months back I was writing lyrics for a song, and I was trying to think about what I could write about. You know, this song had some pretty abstract things in it, and ultimately I was working on it with a friend, and we decided that we wanted the song to be about nostalgia. We really didn't have a meaning for the song when we started working on the music of it, but when we were listening to it, we were trying to think about what emotions were conveyed from that music. And the first thing that popped into my mind, and he agreed actually, was nostalgia. Now, this made things miles easier for me because when I went to go sit and write the lyrics, all I had in my brain was nostalgia. I was just thinking, okay, how can I explain nostalgia through the lyrics of this song? And I was able to sit down, and within maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, I had all the lyrics written out. Now, moving right along, the next step to writing your own lyrics is to listen to your progression. Now, if you're at the point in your songwriting process where you're writing your own lyrics, what I recommend that you do before you actually get started with writing is you record your progression, either into a DAW or recording program, or if you record it into the voice memos app on your phone. Keep in mind here that the point of this isn't to have a professional recording of your progression at this point, though if you do, it's, you know, that makes things a little bit better for you. But the purpose of it is to listen to it on loop over and over again while you write your lyrics. Now, what I always do when I sit down for this part of the process is I don't write anything for the first few times that I listen to the song. I just sit there and I listen, and like we were talking about in the previous step, I think about the story that I'm trying to convey. Now, you don't have to do this 4 to 5 times if you don't have to. Just do it as many times as you feel you need to. But keep in mind that I would do it at least 1 to 2 times because this is going to help the creative juices start flowing. Now, the times that I have done this, one time, for example, I was at work and I was writing my own lyrics for a song, and I just sat there. It was a slow day, and I just listened to this on loop over and over again. And as I listened to it more and more, it was the same nostalgia song. I just had nostalgia on my brain, like I was saying. And I started to have different things pop into my head of, oh, I can take it this direction, or I can explain this in this section of the song. And as you do this, you will see, because you're going to have your song structure as well, and you're going to be able to see where you might want to tell different parts of the story, whether it be in a verse or a chorus, or in the bridge section, you might convey some different things, take a turn for the story, maybe add a little plot twist in there. And again, you're not going to be writing at this point of the process, but you are going to be listening and thinking about how you want to form the story. So now, step number 3, we're actually going to get into writing, and this is going to be where you write the first thing that pops into your head. Now, if you're following this process how I recommend, then you've listened to this a few times and you have a good idea of what you want to do with this song. Now it's time to actually take those thoughts that you have in your head and put them onto paper. You know, you might think, well, I need to have the perfect thing in my head before I write anything down. No, don't do that. That's only going to hold you back. You know, I think it was Tim Ferriss who said that he forces himself to sit down and write, I think it's about 10,000 words every single day. And he doesn't care if it's crap or if it's good or whatever. The goal is just to get things onto paper, and he'll revise it as he goes. Or he can use it or he doesn't use it at all. Basically how he achieves this, because 10,000 words a day is a lot of words, is he allows himself to write crap essentially. He doesn't care what he writes, just as long as he's writing something. This is the same approach that you need to take with your songwriting process and with your lyric writing. It's going to be the same exact thing. I know that for a lot of people, when they're sitting down and they're getting ready to write their own lyrics, they have an idea pop into their head and they're about to write it, and then they're like, no, that's not good enough. I'm going to wait and think of something else. And then the next idea comes along and no, that's not good enough either. You need to flip the script and you just need to get things written down. That's the most important thing. Once it's on paper, you can analyze it and it might not even be as bad as you're anticipating. You know, this was the exact same thing that I did with the song that I've been talking about in this video. When I was listening to it and I was ready to write things down, I had an idea pop into my head, and the first lyric of the song is "Here I am," so I would listen to it and I'd go, all right, here I am. And then I was trying to think, and my friend and I talked about how it was about this guy standing at a river or a lake, and he was looking back at the horizon and thinking about the nostalgia that he was having. And we decided that we wanted to add a little metaphor into the ripples of the water, you know, with the little tiny waves. So we were like, all right, here I am. It's like, where can I take this next? Oh yeah, metaphor, watching the ripples of the day. And because I was able to do this, I was just writing the first thing that popped into my head, and it's actually not all that bad. You know, it's not perfect per se, but it's definitely not terrible as far as metaphors go and as far as lyrics go. So just take this approach and you will see that it's not as bad as you anticipate, and the more that you do it, the easier it's going to get for you as well. Now the fourth step is to make revisions to your lyrics. Now once you've gone through the entire song, don't do this until you go through the entire song and you have something written for each section of the song. Once you have everything written down, you need to go back and you need to go through and listen to the song with the lyrics in mind a couple of times. Now this is where you're going to make revisions. Now the best way that I go about it is, first of all, if I look at a lyric and I think, okay, I like the message that I'm trying to convey in this line, but I don't really like the wording, I'll either, number one, I'll think of a better word that I can put in place of a certain word or a couple different words. Or the next best thing that I would recommend is if you go onto the App Store on your phone, just get this dictionary app here. Now I don't know if you can see that perfectly clear, but really any dictionary app will do. This one actually has, so it's got a dictionary on it and it has a thesaurus built in as well. And when you're writing your own lyrics, if you like the word that you have in place there, then the thesaurus, is going to come in handy, because you're like, okay, I like the definition of this word, I like the message that it's trying to convey, but I think that the phrasing and it might get a little more impact out of a word if I pick a different word in its place. So anyway, that's just something to keep in mind, and that's a tool that I use all of the time. If I, even if I don't have my phone with me for whatever reason, I've always got my phone on me, but that's beside the case. If I don't have my phone with me, either number one, get, an actual dictionary or thesaurus, like the actual book, or you can just hop onto your computer or someone's computer and go onto Google and type in like synonyms for a certain word, or just go onto a dictionary or online thesaurus. Again, this is what I do every time I write a song. You're going to make revisions. Don't expect that the first thing that you write down is going to be the final copy. And chances are, even after you make revisions, you're going to end up making revisions again in the next step of my songwriting process, which is actually to write the melody. Now the key here is to not get too attached to what you have written. You have to kind of look at it objectively and think, okay, how can this be better, even after you've made revisions to it. I want to say though that you will reach a point where you're going to have to accept that, maybe you don't like a certain lyric or something like that. And that's okay. You don't have to like everything that you have written. Yes, it can be better, but you'll reach a point where you have to think, okay, am I wasting my time trying to think of how I can make this any better, or is this good enough? Because not all pieces of the song have to be 100% perfect. If you have that perfectionism mindset, we've talked about that a couple times here on this channel, having that perfectionism mindset is only going to hold you back from ever finishing your projects. So just keep that in mind. You do want, you want them to be as good as you can possibly make it, but then at the same time realize that you can't have that perfectionism mindset. It's kind of there's a little bit of a paradox there, I know, but just keep in mind that, like everything else in life, it's about a balance and you have to pick your battles. That's a good way to put it. Now, as I just previously alluded to, the next step is to prepare your lyrics for the melody. I'm not going to talk about that too much in this video because that's not the purpose, but just keep in mind that you are probably going to need to make revisions in the next step to your lyrics. So like I said, don't get too attached to them. Once you have a good solid foundation at least written, then you can move on to thinking about the melody. There you have it. That is how I go about writing any song lyrics that I am writing. Now, before I let you go, I do want to let you know about a free gift that I've got for you down below this video. If you go down there, you'll find a link to my Smash Hit Secrets PDF, and this is going to be my entire songwriting process, not just for lyrics, but also for things like chord progressions and picking a key. Now, if you want more information on writing your own lyrics and chord progressions and all of that, all that you have to do is go down below this video, click on the link and I'll send it right to your email inbox 100% free. Alright, that's it for me now. Thank you again for watching this video and we'll see you in the next one.